Three, two, one. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting film journey here on Delusions of Grandeur. I am one of your hosts, but today we are going on about a film that our good friend Boris here has decided to bring to the table. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the film that we are going to be discussing?
Oh, nice. We have the same copies.
Except
So,
yours is signed.
oh, you remember that? Yeah, my copy is signed by, as you can see, by Natalie Denise Pearl, the actress who played Lilith in the movie. I bought this DVD from her, and it also came with this nice little note. Um, so yeah, the movie we are discussing this time is called Succubus Hellbent from 2007. As you all know, I'm a big fan of movies about the devil, about demons and stuff like that, especially if there are female demons, then I'm all in for it, as you probably know. um, so yeah, uh, for now, maybe it's the best if we start with what IMDb says about the movie, right?
Well, it is directed by Kim Bass,
Bass,
or
yeah.
Bass, and he is a African American filmmaker from New York.
Yes, that's right.
He
And
wrote some episodes for Sister Sister as well.
oh, oh, yeah, he did direct a lot of things, which I must admit I'm not familiar with all of them. I haven't really explored much of his work aside from this movie. There is actually a funny story about how I even discovered this movie to begin with. It was on a Croatian internet forum, which is really strange because low budget movies are not very well known in Croatia. And so I'm on this one Croatian forum where a friend of mine is playing some forum game, and he got me to play the game with him and be on his side against some other players. And I was basically playing that game just for him. And there was another guy in that game who posted a gif of a woman showing demonic eyes and smirking, which you probably know what moment from the movie I'm talking about. But at that point, I didn't know who she was, and I was curious because she looked like a demon. So I did reverse image search on Google with that picture, and it showed me this movie, Succubus Hellbent, and of course I got very curious about it, and I watched it a while ago, and I became a huge fan of it. But okay, maybe I should ask you guys, is this the first time watching, and what were your first impressions? And okay, ladies first, so let's start with Tammy.
Um, David said we watched it before. I don't remember watching it before. I thought it
Mm,
was okay. A couple just turned 21s with money, acting like a bunch of fools, and comes back to bite one of them, quite literally.
Hit both
oh
of them.
yeah, Uh,
Yeah, there was definitely a bromance going on there, so I get why you said couple.
That's probably the worst insult you could give to someone like him.
I thought it was decent. I mean, the effects were all right, and and stuff like that. It just, like I said, it was a couple just turned 21s with money, and all they think about is partying and getting laid. And well,
Be
What it's all
careful what you
about.
wish for.
we'll see what happened. We saw what happened with that.
Oh
He took,
yeah.
he picked the wrong one to fuck around with.
Well, I would say the problem is not that they had money or that they like to party or that they liked sex. I think the problem is that they were deceiving girls, lying that they had feelings for them, and so just so they could have sex with them, and then they would just dump them like nothing. And that's what I think they actually got punished for.
See, I think some of the opposite. I think that because they were rich boys, rich white boys, they figured they could do whatever the fuck they want.
Uh,
Kids who grow up in or with money often act exactly like they have it. So they will spend it the way they want. They want and not have a care like where the money goes.
And I think it has absolutely nothing to do with the fact they had money. I know plenty of playboys that got plenty of women with no money. So that has absolutely nothing to do with it. And they happen to have money, but, so they went to Cancun to get some Wu-Tang, but that doesn't mean nothing. I knew
uh,
plenty of poor people that got tons, so.
uh, okay, so Tammy, would those be your first impressions, or do you have anything to add?
No, nothing to add at this time.
Uh, okay. What about you, Kroll?
Yep, it's the first time I watched it. I thought it was pretty decent. I thought there was going to be more blood because you said it was a B movie and they tend to have more blood. It looked less like a B movie. So it might have been like on the higher end of B movies, I guess.
Oh,
And it definitely didn't really have much blood at all in it, which was a little disappointing. Um, I mean, it didn't need to be carry blood, but a little more blood would have been nice. The kills were decent, but like I said, a little more blood would have been better. Yeah, I mean, okay, were they wrong? Were they wrong? Yeah, but I mean, I don't think he wasn't lying to all the women. I mean, he might have lied like a line to get them in bed or whatever, because saving kitties or whatever. But the women either know better or don't care, because I mean, that's just pretty. You know, you pretty much tell it's a fucking line. So the women, especially at spring break, they want to get laid too. So they act like they fall for the line, and and maybe here and there they might get hurt, but 9 times out of 10 they don't really care because, like I said, they get laid too. Not how you find a boyfriend, yeah, you know.
oh.
So, but I mean, Lilith, yeah, he said I love you to Lilith, but she pretty much just like say it, like he's like, okay, I love you, like of course he didn't mean it. She was just telling him that. So I don't necessarily think that either one of them should have been gone through what they went through. When the buddy got killed and he went through his girlfriend and his buddy getting killed and him almost getting killed. Like, I think the punishment was way beyond the crime. And I'll get more into what I think about the Succubus stuff. But I enjoyed the movie, but yeah, I don't think the crime was that bad for the punishment.
Okay, what about you, Dave?
Um, I know that this was a direct-to-video feature. I remember seeing it in Blockbuster, um, along
Oh,
along with
nice.
a bunch of other
You
movies.
still had Blockbuster in 2007? Holy
Yep,
shit!
yep.
You are in a backwards town.
We still had blockbusters then, but yeah, it wasn't long after seeing this movie that though that blockbusters were no longer. So imagine it was a couple of months before like that tragedy happened, but regardless, um, I didn't get to see it until I'd actually picked it up and watched it. I believe I watched it with Tammy the first time, and at the time I thought the chick who played Lilith, she was decently hot, and she definitely wore the right type of clothing, you know, for this. The effects, well, some of them look a little dated. And yeah, I would have expected at least a little bit more blood, to be honest, for this particular storyline. I do think the young men in here did need to have a lesson taught to them, like,
Maybe a lesson, but killed.
but killed over it. No, but they definitely needed like a full wake up call for what they were doing. I mean, sometimes when yeah, you can have fun. You can have parties. I have no problem with that, and
Like
I
I
have no
said,
problem with you if you're single and wanting to get laid. But the games that they were playing with women's minds definitely was going to eventually stack up against them. Eventually, or maybe it would have been their downfall. Who knows? But
Oh,
I do think that this movie has an underlying message. Be careful who you fuck with.
mm, yeah, well, for me, it was not the first time I watched the movie, but it was the second time. The first time was, yeah, not sure when the whole thing in the forum happened, as I said, several months ago. Now I watched it for the second time, and I'm a huge fan of this movie. It's one of my favorite female demon movies. Okay, maybe my top favorite is still The Seekers because that one has a great sentimental value to me. But this one I would say is a close second or third, uh, maybe second along with Dark Angel: The Ascent. And I really enjoyed this movie. Now, as far as what we have already started discussing about whether these two characters deserve the punishment they got, well, I would say they do not deserve death. Okay, Adam didn't die, the other one did. But yeah, I would say people like them do not deserve death. I would say they deserve to stay alive in order to feel the consequences of their actions. Because when they are dead, they are just dead. They are no longer feeling anything. Um, and one thing I would say, okay, when they were lying about saving cats and stuff like that, okay, yeah, maybe that's not that bad because most of those girls really were there just to get laid. But what I really did have an
Exactly.
yeah, but one thing I really hated about Adam's behavior, and not just Adam, that's something I really hate in real life people too, when they when they ditch someone without an explanation. Okay, in this case, it was about sex, but sex or not, whenever you interact with someone, and if you think it's okay to just go away without them knowing why you suddenly decided to stop interacting with them, if you think that's an okay thing to
Because
do,
it was a one night stand, and
uh,
like he said, she was sleeping. He didn't want to wake her up. I mean, if she was awake, probably would have said bye. But
uh, okay, so your point is if she was where she was, she should have expected to get treated like that.
all I'm saying is spring break. People know the fucking deal on both sides.
Oh,
You don't go
okay.
there. You don't go there expecting to get a boyfriend or a girlfriend. You expect to
Oh,
hook up. You know, and that's what happened.
uh, well, okay, I guess I wouldn't know that since I'm from Croatia and very far from the United States, plus the
Well, it actually
geography
wasn't
can
in the
never.
U.S. It was New Mexico, Cancun, New Mexico. But yeah, a lot of people from the U.S. go there, because it's called spring break. I mean, it's basically okay, it's time to fuck, but they want to instead of calling it that, they called it spring break.
Oh,
It's just how it
uh,
goes. Like Mardi Gras is another festival where it's pretty much people get laid.
uh, okay, yeah, I can somewhat see that point, but when you look at the whole way these characters were presented, you can get the impression that this is not the
I mean,
first time they
obviously
were.
they did it like in the parties, and so I mean, again, it's when you have parties like that, they get a reputation. So maybe the first couple of girls might not have known too much, but after a few, you hear things, and you know what you're walking into. So I mean, I'm not saying they were perfect or they should have done it. I'm just saying that the way they did it is like the parties and the Cancun thing and stuff like that. So it's pretty much it's a given that they're gonna behave that way, and likely the women are too. And you just see the one side was, oh, the woman's upset, but is she really? Because she most times she figures she knows what she's getting into. Like the girl that the girlfriend, and then she's realized, oh, she's with other women. She probably already knew that, and she forgave him like right away, because. And then she
Mm,
said she met him through one of those parties, so she knows what they're about. You know,
Mm.
she knows what they're about, and she's still with him. So she knows what she was getting into, and I mean, like I said, I'm not defending their behavior. I'm just stating like how their behavior works, and it's always people like, oh, men are just horrible, and it's like, well, it takes two, and women aren't that gullible, you
mm,
know. Well, they shouldn't be.
well,
I mean, maybe here and there, but women are usually pretty smart, and
Yeah,
they
no,
they
I've
they
never
can.
been to a party where the women have been like this. So,
Oh, me neither, but I've heard about them. I've had friends that have
well,
been at parties like that, but
one thing I would say, okay, this movie they did put a lot of focus on men deceiving women. They didn't put much emphasis on situations when it happens
they
the other way
they,
around.
they
But
never do, or they never put it so that the women know exactly what's going on either. They never do. But come back to reality and think about it for a minute. I mean, Tim, you're a woman. I mean, if you go on a spring break, you know what you're going there for, right? If you were single and you go on a spring break,
Yeah, I guess.
you know that's what I'm saying, and they know, whether the guy says something, feelings, or she does, or whatever. It's a spontaneous thing, but they both know it's gonna end. It's not.
Were you
You
ever at
better
a
get hooked up.
party? Were you ever at a party, Tammy, that was as like in a house like that?
Not really. I mean, I went to parties, but most of the time, everybody that was at the party either had their other with them or they were just there to party. They weren't thinking about getting laid. I mean, I was at parties plenty of times
How was those boring parties?
without my boyfriend, and all I wanted to do was drink. You know, I mean, I know that there was a few guys there that's all they thought about was hooking up. But it wasn't the majority of the party was not like that. No.
It wasn't a hard-on concept.
Yeah, but I'm sure just about everybody there was thinking about
The
sex.
idea of the party was to entangle and get laid.
Right.
I mean,
The people that were couples that were there, I'm sure were thinking about getting laid with each other. Yeah, but you, the parties I went to, you
sure they'll
only
think
had
about getting laid with other people
you
too.
maybe
But
had
hey.
like one or two playboys that were there, seeing if anybody actually was single that was there. It wasn't the majority.
Who? Yeah, I get it. Oops, we lost Dave.
He ran away.
No.
Yes. Well, you didn't say anything and you were gone and then you came back, so
You're not
you ran the
supposed
fuck
to
away.
do anything online.
You left us without saying goodbye. Now we all have to pull a Lilith on you.
Ha ha. I want to go to get a drink of soda, which does not need to be aired online.
Sorry.
Since you're on video, people have eyes. If you want to hide that stuff, don't be on video.
Okay,
Things you don't air out in public on a podcast. Rule number 1: if somebody gets a drink, goes to the bathroom, you don't wonder where they are.
Yeah.
I know a certain person named Dustin that would agree with you.
Well, I don't air out his dirty laundry or anything like.
Yes, you did.
I just don't know when he goes and does shit.
Yeah, because you didn't read your message.
Well, I didn't know I was sent a message.
He heard the ding. Everyone heard the ding. He's doing
Anyway, for those who are butthurt over that, get over it. Anyway,
I'm not butthurt.
But we have fun here on this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Don't mind us. We just do things that other podcasts would not do on the air. Anyways,
Light moon, everybody.
That's no move.
Maybe. Oh yeah, that's definitely one thing that doesn't happen on many podcasts.
I would hope not.
Well, I certainly don't.
Unless it was a good-looking girl.
Because I'm walking away.
Unless it was a good-looking girl, I wouldn't mind that.
So maybe we should go back to IMDb to say what I forgot to say before about the movie. It says it stars Gary Busey, David Keith, and Lorenzo Lamas, but those I don't know.
Busey's in it for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, those are not really.
That's all they can afford.
Yeah, the real main characters and main actors in this movie are Robert Mann as Adam, Natalie Denise Pearl as Lilith, and Jason Blair as Jason. And we already said the movie was directed and written by Kim Bass. And as far as the synopsis goes, well, it doesn't really say much aside from the tagline that we already saw on the DVD cover. Oh, yeah, it says, okay, it's slightly different from the tagline after all, but it says, sometimes what happens at spring break doesn't stay at spring break, it follows you home. Now, that doesn't really say much, does it? But yeah, those who uh, for those who don't know, as you may have figured out already, the movie is about these two rich boys, Adam and Jason, who think the world is theirs because they are rich and they think they can be assholes and treat anyone like shit and get away with it. Uh, Especially girls whom they often deceive to get sex. Okay, this maybe was at spring break, but we got the impression that they do the same thing otherwise as
At
well.
their parties, that again, duh.
Uh, Okay, yeah. But then Adam comes across this beautiful woman named Lilith, and he does the same thing with her that he does with others. He lies to her, has sex with her, and then dumps her without an explanation. But he doesn't realize that she is the Lilith, the mother of all demons, the first succubus, and the first wife of the biblical Adam, which makes this the main character's name kind of an irony. So yeah, she finds him back at home and starts to make his life a living hell. So at the beginning, unfortunately, we do not have a summary of the plot on Wikipedia, so I guess we're going to have to go from the memory. Uh,
And it's funny, later on, there was a chick in a bar. Her name was Eve.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They even made jokes about that name. So
Now they missed an opportunity. I really think that after this thing with Lilith, he should have had a thing with Eve, because that would have just been funny. Adam and Lilith and Adam and Eve.
oh yeah.
But they missed opportunity there.
Indeed. Uh, So, at the beginning, we have this scene when we get to know Adam. He starts out with a dialogue line saying, some people are born first and some are born to be first. My name is Adam and I was born to be both. So, at that very beginning, we get the idea what he is like as a person. And at the beginning, we see him and his dad flying in airplanes. They have what's it called in English? What they do? Uh, uh, I, I forgot the English word for that. Those airplane racing or whatever it is that they were doing.
Oh, basically, I believe that Adam is because his father has a job with like naval stuff and all that jazz. He's basically a test runner pilot for like all of these like X planes and shit like that. So that they can use them in combat later on or whatnot, which is actually kind of cool because later on there are actually two people in here that are actually like mainstream actors. Like the first is his father. Um,
Uh,
you might
David
know
Keith.
the father. I don't know if you know him, but the father he played in the original Firestarter
Oh,
movie. as the Firestarter girl's father, and I believe he also played as the Richard Gere's character's best friend in An Officer and a Gentleman.
Ooh, cool. Yeah,
So
I didn't know that, but while I was doing some research on the movie, which I was doing for reasons I'm going to bring up later, yeah, I did find out that many people point out David Keith, Gary Busey, and Lorenzo Lamas as the aspects of this movie that make the movie worth watching, but yeah, I was not familiar with them. I do not dislike them or anything, but I have not been
yeah,
familiar
David
with
Keith
them.
is who I was talking about. He played Wallace. That was his father. Gary Busey, he played the dude who was like the hunter later on.
Yeah.
And then Lorenzo Lamas, he was that first flight instructor that you see. And Lorenzo Lamas was an actor that made his debut on a biker show called Renegade.
Before that, he made his actual debut on Falcon Crest, which was a nighttime soap opera.
Oh.
I know that because my mom
Which one?
used to my mom used to watch it.
Which one?
Falcon
Falcon's Crest.
Crest.
Interesting.
And when I started watching Renegade and said how cute Lorenzo Lamas was, my mom's like, I thought he was better looking with short hair in Falcon Crest.
But yeah, Lorenzo Lamas started acting in a lot of like B movie, mainstream B movies. That's what I call them, mainstream B movies, because there's levels of B movies to me. Uh,
Well, yeah, I do see why, but not sure if this movie can be called mainstream, as most people don't seem to know about it. At least most of those I have asked about it didn't seem to be familiar with it.
that's because most people who think that a direct to video was just didn't have the quality to show up in a theater, so it's not worth viewing.
Uh, well, about this movie, I would definitely disagree because I enjoyed it a lot. And also, maybe it's worth mentioning that Natalie Denise Pearl also played in an episode of Two and a Half Men.
Well, as you know and I know, both you and I are very easily entertained. We don't
Uh,
need a whole lot when it comes to full features.
well, this movie gave me quite enough, I would say. But okay, I am generally a huge fan of female demons, as you can see. Uh, a moment ago, I saw this statue I have here. I brought it out for this discussion. Homemade statue of Lilith. Well, okay, not of this Lilith, but of the mythological one. A friend from the UK and his wife made this statue for me. It's a handmade statue. Uh,
Cool.
thank you. So yeah, I did like Lilith as a mythological character even before I discovered this movie. And interestingly enough, as you all know, I'm also a huge fan of owls, and a while ago I found out owls are coincidentally also one of the symbols of Lilith. And speaking of which, I have an owl
Then
ring here.
you would probably enjoy the Lilith trilogy.
Oh, what trilogy?
The Lilith trilogy.
Whose trilogy is that? You got me intrigued now.
Richard Chandler. He's a director from Boston that I know. I have a copy of his Lilith trilogy. He also did something called Gilgamesh, and he definitely drops a lot of f bombs in his movies. But I kind of figured that's kind of up your alley.
Ooh.
I guess I'll have to find my copy and send it over to you.
Ooh. Well, thank you. Mm, I'll see. Maybe I can find it somewhere myself. If not, then you can help me. And thank you. I didn't even know about this trilogy existing. Now I'm
Is it
curious.
just books? Is it just books or is it movies?
It's movies.
Because there's
It's called the Lilith trilogy, they're actually called something something different, each of them. So
Oh.
right. There's also books too.
Oh, from the same
not
franchise.
not of the same guy, maybe.
Interesting. Mm.
Octavia
So,
Butler, Ellen
what about
Hunter.
the plot? Where have we left off?
I believe that you did you read the IMDb?
Oh, yes, yes, I already started with the plot when Adam and his
I
father
believe
were testing these
talking
airplanes. So,
about. I believe you were talking about when they were actually flying in the air.
Fine, yeah, that was way into the movie.
yeah.
No, they were flying in the air in the very beginning of the movie too.
Oh, when he was flying against his father.
Yeah, that's where we were.
Yes, yes.
You're stupid, not you. My browser. I was looking up the Lilith trilogy. I said Lilith trilogy movies. Oh, here when I was going to click on it, it's books. I said movies.
Oh,
Lilith 2018
yeah.
movie.
So, after that, if I remember correctly, we get to the spring break scene, or did I miss anything? This is only the second time I watched this movie, so it's not like I doctored it like I did The Seekers. And I do not have a summary, as I thought there would be one on Wikipedia, but apparently there isn't one. Um, so yeah, then we get to know Adam, and well, okay, we kind of do know Adam already, but then we also get to know his friend Jay. They are on their way to spring break, and they are having fun. Uh, Discussing Adam's father and so on, and yeah, we get the impression that they are generally kind of assholish people, all of them. So, what do we all think of this beginning?
It's fine.
Oh,
I thought the beginning was okay. I mean, it kind of sets up that he has obviously got a kind of relationship with his father, and you can see that he does seem to be on the tailor end of a father that doesn't seem to always want to be with his son. Seems to want to have
oh,
his own.
Oh yeah, we could say the father is most definitely to blame for Adam being the way he is because the father, in my opinion, is not really any better. If I have once, okay, maybe I wouldn't go that far to say it's the only thing, but I think Lilith should have gone after the father as well. I mean, she killed some innocent people, but didn't even touch that asshole. That kind of doesn't make sense to me. That would probably be my only plot issue with this movie.
Okay.
Well, again, the asshole didn't deserve to die, and of course, neither did the friend, and neither did the girlfriend. So, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't quite deserve to die. Uh, you didn't say anything about the cops, so what? They did deserve to die.
Of course. No, I was kidding. I was just talking. I was just talking about now. I wasn't talking about later. But whatever. Not now, but you know what I mean.
Okay, and then uh, by the way, Tammy, you are kind of quiet. Is everything okay?
I'm fine. I'm just listening to see where we're at and see if there's something I
Oh,
want to say.
okay. So then we get to the spring break scene. And we finally get to know Lilith. So, what do we think of this scene when she appears for the first time?
Well, don't skip the other girl.
Uh,
She's over there. She's over
oh,
there kissing Adam, and the friend comes over and says, "I want to kiss him." His lips been, and she's like, "Well, no, where my lips have been." And then she goes over and kisses him, and
oh, oh, yeah, yeah, there is that moment too.
and then he tells her, he says, "You missed out because she has a sister." He's like, "Oh, it's probably the ugly sister." Blah blah blah. And he's like, "No, it's a twin." She's like, "Oh, damn."
Yeah. Uh,
Then we see Lilith. No,
oh,
and yeah, because he sees her first, and he's like, "What's hotter than a hottie?" And then they see her,
uh,
and they're like, "Oh, she definitely is hotter than a hottie." And
uh,
and then his friends like, "Oh, she's even beyond your league." Like, and he's like, "Oh, I'll get her." It's like, "I want proof." They do have a thing where
yeah.
they video record the women, which they may or may not know. Well, they'll definitely know. She looked right at the camera. She did not care at all.
Uh, yeah, actually, she projected that succubus image into the video so that he would see later on what he is dealing with.
Yeah, yeah. She didn't. She didn't try to stop them from recording her. So that might have been
Yeah,
a little shady with the recording, because But again, we don't know. Like the two women, he actually brought the video camera out, and they were like cool with it. So we don't know if he was done shady stuff or not. So we can't really say he deserves to be punished for doing stuff that he may or may not have done.
uh, yeah. Now, as far as this part before Lilith goes, what you mentioned when he said, you don't know where those lips have been, and that girl says he doesn't know where mine were either. I must say about that part, kids don't do this at home. I mean, that sounds like they both uh, don't care much about the risk of getting an STD, which is
Well, like I said, they're at spring break. The women and the men are at spring break. So that's what I'm saying. Like they know what's up. They know what the deal is. You know, you can't just say, "Oh, he's a womanizer." Well, so the women are menizers or whatever. I don't know, but it's
yeah, but
always put on the men, like when the women don't know, like
yeah,
like
but
situations like that. They're gonna know. I mean,
No, I'm not even talking about morals or anything like that. I'm talking about health risks because.
Oh, I know. There's no such thing as morals. You do good, you do bad. You do what you do, and that's all. Be a good person, and good things will happen. Be a bad person, most bad things happen. So I don't believe in morals. I'm a good person. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Not because of some deity wrote down some things I'm supposed to do or not do.
Yeah, well, okay, I'm an atheist too, but in my
I'm not an
opinion,
atheist. Just
uh,
my religion is not like the
oh,
Christian.
okay, yeah, I apologize. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm not saying about morals because of religion or anything like that, but we should try not to hurt someone who didn't do any harm to us first, because simply because we wouldn't want that done to us either.
Well, I mean,
There
that's
really
not
isn't
the only
any
reason.
morals during spring break. Everybody's out to please themselves.
Uh,
Yep.
yeah, yeah, true.
Everybody, both sides, men and women.
Mm, yeah. So, yeah, then we get to Lilith's first appearance. So, what do we think of that?
She's the hottie with the body.
Right? Uh, by the way, Dave, you are kind of quiet too. What are you doing?
I am waiting for a moment to have a thought, and I haven't had one.
Oh, you often
It's
seem
tough for
kind
him.
of. Sorry, what did you say, Kroll?
I said it's tough for him.
No, it's not
You
tough for
often.
me. I just don't have an entire lot to say about Lilith in general. Yeah, she's hot. Yes, yeah, she knows how to strut her stuff. Yeah, she knows how to uh, say things erotically. You know, but I think this movie could have been better.
Oh.
Well, duh, but
So,
we're not talking about that.
Well,
I
okay.
mean no insult or anything like that. That I enjoy it. I enjoy her character,
I
but
think the fact that they had her being Lilith was cool. The part that they called her a succubus is off. Because
Sorry.
succubus will kill people by draining their life force when they're having sex with them. I mean, they don't always kill, but in a horror movie, obviously they would be probably killing and stuff. But they just they create sex, whether it's male, female, whatever. Succubus are the female demon.
I'm used
Incubus
to
are
a
the
succubus draining the life from everyone they fuck. You know,
yeah. I mean, they don't have to kill them, but that's what they do. They fuck some. They don't fuck one person and just
honestly,
get jealous and make his life hell. It's just like
a
like
true succubus would drain his life and kill him, and then move on.
right. Possibly. I mean, she might not kill him, but she definitely wouldn't be following him around and all this other stuff. I mean, if she did, follow him, she would like see him with another woman, and she'd like go to fucking
I think it would
be
have
with
been a
both of them.
different
Be
plot
with
if
both of
she'd
them
have
at the
gone
same.
from son to
She
father.
would have gone. She would have been with the both of them at the same time. Like women, like they're goodbye. They want as many partners as they can when they can, if at the same time or outright one right after another.
I
Or
do
how
think this
they're
movie's
having
dialogue
insatiable,
has
they
aged.
have an insatiable thirst for for sex. That's what they are. They are demons. I mean, but they kill, and depending on the type of demon, maybe not necessarily for pleasure. Like they don't kill for pleasure. It's just it's the side effect of them having sex. So
I've always thought of a succubus having the ability to drain one's life force entirely.
well, I loved Lost Girl because she didn't she killed one person, her first boyfriend, who she even knew she was a succubus by kissing him, but she didn't know what the hell she was doing. After that, she learned to control it, and she didn't kill anyone. Even doing a lot more, but she had to learn what she was and
Yeah,
control it.
she's definitely more of a tame succubus.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't. She was good too, and she didn't kill people like that. I mean, sometimes with a sword. The bad people she had to kill, whatever. But she did use her. She did use her feminine wiles sometimes to get what she wanted, men or women. So show was fucking great. But yeah, if there was a horror version of that, I could see it being fun too. But yeah, it would definitely wouldn't be like this. When he said succubus, I was like, oh, I was interested, and it wasn't what I thought it was because she's not really a succubus. I mean, she says she is, but she's not a succubus that I know.
And I think
there's some political dialogue that's said during the initial date that
Oh yeah,
she went on. What are you, a Democrat?
no, a Democrat. That was funny. I laughed.
he said, "What are you, a Democrat or something?" And she said, "Or something." I think
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that dialogue is a little dated because of the woke community out there.
Something like that. Something like
fuck
that.
the
They would
woke
throw in a movie
community.
now. It sounds like something they would throw in a movie now to push agendas or to BTC. Whereas in 2007, they were just making a joke, and that's all it is. They were just making a joke, and it's.
Yeah, too many people would be offended by that.
I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, but in a lot of ways, I think I agree with Democrat more than Republican. But I still thought it was funny. I just laughed. It was just like whatever. But I'm neither. I'm politicians suck, and so there's to it.
Yeah, well, honestly, fuck people getting offended at everything, and as
That too.
as an online friend of mine would say, the woke community can go fuck itself with a hedge trimmer.
Like I've always said, if they can't joke, take a joke. Fuck them.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to the story.
Yeah.
So she sleeps with him, scratches them all up, and he's like, "Ow!" But he's like into it. He's like, "Wow, you're crazy." It's like, basically, oh yeah, she did say she's always on top.
Oh yeah, you know what that's a reference to.
Yeah, like getting on top of him.
Yeah, well, in the mythology, it said that Lilith was banished from the Garden of Eden because she refused to be under Adam in sex.
No, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, I did hear about that. So this was probably a reference to that, which I found really cool.
See, I just thought it was a sexy thing.
Yeah, I do too. I just thought it was a sexual thing. I mean, I got it, and I was just like, hell yeah. And he was like, I don't mind. Like I would too. It's like be my guest.
I love it when a woman's on top. It's just
me too.
I wouldn't say no to her either.
So yeah, it's just so they had their sex thing, and she's sleeping, only she's not really sleeping, but they think she is because she has her eyes closed and stuff. And then they
And
leave,
his friend always liked sloppy seconds.
and he doesn't mind like going for the throwaways, like the twin girls. He ended up getting them. He didn't get them that night, but he ended up getting them after. So not twins, but sisters. Yeah. But yeah, so they fly back, and his father calls him and says, second you get back, get over here, and so he's like, what did I do now?
Yeah.
He gets back and finds out it's because of him spending huge amounts of money for the equipment for the camera, and he's like, what's wrong with using school? And he's like, but there's only a couple there, and there's a bunch of people using it. It's hard to get any time at all, and you always say, time is money, so he got it. So, and then he says, next time, clear it with him. So I mean, I honestly think that was probably a good way to spend his father's money. Like, maybe not the bracelet, some other things, but like that, he was trying to be study, and I mean, maybe he bought like more expensive versions than he needed, per se.
They were using the camera on the trip.
Yeah,
Oh, I
they were
know.
using
I know,
using it for their sex
but you're
capade.
not listening. He said he's going to school to be a director and stuff. He wants to do this for a living, to make movies and stuff. So he needs that camera and stuff like that. Yeah, maybe he's using some extra curricular stuff too. But he did use it he was using it to he did say that. He even told Lilith and other girls. He said that he wanted to be make movies and direct a few and win some Oscars and
Yeah, he was
go
also
hunting
a
and
cat
stuff.
rescuer too. Did
Yeah,
you
but
believe
that was fake. The movie thing wasn't. If you watch the movie, you can tell that's why he spent all that money on the camcorders and stuff and
Yeah, so he can
everything.
record their escapades.
No, the escapades was just extra fucking fun.
I honestly think that the movie directing might have been a reason why he spent the money on it, but yeah,
Right.
he bought it for the escapades.
I'm not saying he didn't, but I'm just saying he had a legitimate reason as well.
He enjoyed filming himself.
Of course he did, but I'm just saying he still had a legitimate reason as well. That's all I'm saying. Is he had a legitimate reason. I'm not saying he's an angel or anything. I'm saying he also had a legitimate reason.
So he claims.
So, Kroll, if you were a girl, he would have picked your ass up already for believing that.
If I wanted him to, if I was going to a party and wanted to get laid, then yeah. And I was a girl. I mean, like I said, it takes two, and women want to get laid as much as men do.
Maybe not as much, at least in this day and age.
Then you don't know what. Then I don't know who the hell you've been talking to. Because I've heard completely different stories. And I will tell you right now, any woman that has been to a strip club, that the women are 100 times worse than men are at strip clubs and stuff like that. 100 times worse. So, just saying.
Can't say never been to a strip club.
I'm just saying, it's I mean, women may have loved sex as much like a couple hundred years ago. Just obviously, men weren't even really didn't talk about it. Never mind women. So and then once men talk about it somewhat, women still didn't talk about it. Yeah.
To do the hunting, women stayed home and cooked the food.
Women stayed home and went to go see the 60 Men of Las Vegas. What the fuck are you talking about?
But yeah. Anyways, just saying. The point is, yeah, maybe not every single woman or in every single man, but I'm saying, in generally speaking, women get as horny as men. They just can control it a little bit better, and that's why they have the they win, because it's like they can say, okay, no sex, and they can, even though they want it, they know that the men's gonna fucking cave before they do. Usually, so it's a way to control them, and it works because men are stupid and can't keep it in the pants.
Thinking back to the words of a rap, I sometimes like women are just horny as men. They're just programmed inefficient.
I had a girl. She was just a nymphomaniac, and a couple times was like, "All right, no sex for you," and joking. She's just like, "Okay," and then it's like, of course, that didn't last, because it just don't work. Man can just not hold out.
Uh, Sorry, are you talking about what happened to Heather shortly after she forgave Adam?
No, I was talking about that next girlfriend. I don't know where you got that from, but okay.
Oh, sorry, I just
Heather, yeah, well, Heather came over, and we find out that she's pretty much his girlfriend, and she's like, you miss me? He's like, oh yeah, and he's like, I got you something, and she looks, and it's an expensive
Would call her.
bracelet, and he says, what does that tell you? And she goes, that you spend your father's money on me, and you're like, I love it. And then he's like, well, what are you gonna do for it? He's like, what do I need to? And then looks like she's gonna go down on him, and she takes his shirt off and see all the scratch marks, and she knows that's from has to be from a woman, and she's like, you pig, and gets all mad and upset and leaves, and he's upset, so he has to throw a party. Two women to every guy.
Well, and she goes for a swim, and he doesn't know that Lilith
Not
is.
yet, not yet, not yet. You're skipping
yeah,
ahead here.
uh, uh,
Let me
yeah,
talk.
Well, there's not much of a sex scene.
Not let me talk. Okay, so he has the party, and then Lilith shows back up when he's upstairs with the two girls about to get it on with them, and she comes in, and she's like, "You call this I think she said something about a movie or something." Um, and she tells the two girls to get lost. And first they're like, "Hey, we're gonna fuck them. We were here first to fuck them," And she's like, "Get lost," and they just left. And
They call her the bitch in black.
Lilith just basically controls him completely, and fucks him, and then disappears. Right
His
after
friend
sex.
is on the outside of
His
the
friend
door.
comes. His friend comes up, and he's at the door, and he's hearing him yelling, and then he heard like something. He's like, he came back up the stairs because he's gonna leave. He's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And his friend answered him. He's like, "I'm coming in." And his friend finally opens the door, and he runs in. He's like, "What the hell happened here?" So he tells him, and he's like, "Where is she?" He's like, "I don't know. She just disappeared."
Oh,
And
yeah, that was a
then
good.
then after the party, the girlfriend comes back, and she's like, well, I just wanted to say I'm sorry, and also check to see that you're not alone, and you are, which I'm surprised because he had a party. So like I said, she knows what he's like,
Yeah,
she know what he's
I
like.
I
And
must say, sorry.
and then of course they sleep together, and then she's like, I'm gonna go swim. You gonna come? And he's like, keep dreaming. He's so he's just like, well, you better stay awake. I'm coming back up in 20 minutes. You better stay awake. Because obviously she wants to go again or whatever. So then she goes and she puts a bathrobe thing on, and she goes gets a beer, and she goes outside and takes the bathrobe thing on, and suddenly she has a bikini on, and I'm like, she was just having sex. She should be naked. Like, she didn't put on anything. But I guess they didn't want to show nudity. So suddenly she went from being naked to having a bikini on, which makes zero sense. But
Uh, oh yeah,
so
speaking of
that,
which, during the sex scene with Lilith, there are moments when if you look closely, you can kind of see her boobs.
I did not notice. I'll have to
Yeah,
watch the movie
I
again.
was, I was, I was expecting more. To be
Yeah,
honest,
yeah, we didn't really get much of anything. We didn't get any boobs. We didn't get any blood. Just some staple things of these kind of movies. You usually get,
it wasn't quite as
with
erotic as I
especially with
would.
the B movies. It really did not really feel like much of a B movie.
Uh,
It felt like an A movie.
I
Um,
was. I mean, I
but
wasn't expecting a porno, but I was definitely
oh,
expecting
exactly. At least seeing some boobs and maybe, you know, like
uh,
she was wearing some
maybe
like
some nips at least. At
like
least.
she should have been wearing like a G-string, maybe G-string panties, and like that would make sense. And no top, and I mean, you don't have to have it, but it would have been nice to have in the movie.
mm,
I mean, there was some nice looking women in the movie. Um,
uh,
and what she gets in there and she's drinking her beer and she puts the beer down and she swims and she goes back and her beer's gone and she thinks it's him and she's like, I know you're there, you got my beer, blah, blah, blah. Come out, and all of a sudden she gets dunked under the water and then she comes back up
Well, she
and
actually gets hit over the head with the beer
oh
bottle
yeah,
first.
yeah,
Spudow!
and of course Lilith is pushing her head under the water and keeping her under there. And she's trying to fight and trying to breathe. And
Which I thought was kind of weird because she'd knocked her out with the beer bottle anyways.
she
So
wasn't knocked out.
her
She was
body
just
should
hit.
have been limp
She was
anyways.
just hit with it. She wasn't knocked out. Just
Yeah, I
hit.
think she was awake
It's not
while Lilith
easy to be knocked out by a beer
was.
bottle. And obviously Lilith, even though she hit her with it, she probably didn't want to kill her because she wanted to punish her. She wanted to torture her for whatever reason. And so she drowns her and next thing you know, you see the coroner, and then you see the police inside, and they're interrogating him, of course, because nobody's home, and he's supposedly sleeping, and his girlfriend gets killed after getting hit with a bottle and stuff, and so of
Well,
course
yeah,
they think it's
no
him.
witnesses.
And of course, we see the coroner and the creepy guy in the back
Oh,
opening up the thing and saying, "Oh, aren't you a pretty one?" And he
Yeah,
kisses the dead body.
that was a nice touch. The dude in the ambulance. He's
And then
kissing.
the girl, the girl
When he
driving the
kisses her,
coroner
yeah.
thing, is just looking like this is disgusting. And when he does it again to Lilith, he's like, "If you do it again, I'm reporting you." And he goes to do it, and then of course, Lilith like gets him, and I was like, "Yeah, now he deserved it."
wait, are you saying he deserved it more than Adam did?
Yeah, I mean, fucking dead women.
Whoa.
Yeah, well, okay, that is disgusting, and it is,
Yeah, it's disgusting.
it is unhealthy, but at least the dead people
It's
cannot
illegal,
be hurt.
and it's illegal. They cannot consent either.
Okay, yeah,
I
but
guess
they
you
can.
don't believe in necromancy.
It's not necromancy. Necromancy when you bring them back to life.
Necromance.
Necrophilia.
Yeah, that's the term.
Gotta love Dave and his use of words.
Uh,
Yeah, you just create words for the English language.
Really? Okay, let me look up this
Yeah,
fake word and tell
yeah,
you the fake
uh,
description
uh,
of the fake word that I just made up.
yeah, necrophilia is the word for
I know
sexual
it is.
affection
I
for
know,
dead
but I
bodies.
made up a word called necromance, and y'all have a big
Necromancy is
English
not a
bit.
made up word. Necromancy is when you bring people back from the dead. usually as zombies.
Necromancy is. A necromance is a romance between a dead body and a human.
She said necromancy.
It's also a movie. Necromance.
I know.
Necromantic 1 and 2.
Necrophilia, also known as necrophilism, necrogania, necrocrotus,
I put the two words
necrocolysis,
together,
and
romance and
necrophilia
necro.
is sexual tracking towards a sexual
There's
act
nothing wrong
involving corpses.
with
Is
making up
classified as
words as you go
paraphilia by
along.
the World Health Organization.
Well, okay. I do agree that necrophilia is disgusting, but I think at least that guy wasn't okay. It was gross, but at least he wasn't causing harm to anyone with what he was doing, unlike Adam.
You are twisted.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
He was causing harm to the body.
Fucking doing shit to a dead
That is
body.
technically disrespect and partial rape on a dead body.
Exactly. The body cannot. The dead cannot give consent.
uh, okay, so if
It is
someone is
technically still taboo to touch a body in any sexual way after it is deceased.
Yep.
uh,
No touching the
well,
boobs. No fucking
I-
kissing the lips. No nothing.
I'm not saying it's a good thing to do, but causing emotional damage to a living person is worse, in my opinion.
Well, who said Adam did that? When did it prove when Adam did that?
Well,
The only
as far
person who got upset after he said "I love you" or whatever was Lilith, who made him say it. So
Yep, which means
again,
the
His
feelings
girl-
were all in.
Lilith,
The feelings
no,
were all
because she
inside
knew.
her.
Again, she knew what he was like, and she went right back to him, and even said, "I'm glad to know that I didn't find someone in bed with you." Like, and then he's like, "Oh, I just we just had some friends over," and she goes, "Don't forget, you met me at one of those parties." So she knew he slept with someone, and maybe they're not there anymore, but she knew, and she didn't care, so she didn't even hurt her
She's a human
either.
yo-yo.
Yeah, but before Lilith appeared, there was a moment when Adam expressed himself about women by saying something like, "You lie to them, you get them laid, and then you leave them," something like that. So that to me,
Yeah,
at
and the
least,
women do the same thing. They listen to the lie, they have sex with the guy, and then they leave. They don't expect anything either. Again, you're only seeing one side of the
Normally,
thing
they're leaving
from what the
leaving
director wants
whatever's
you to
in the
see.
dude's wallet.
They want you to show you the bad side that only the men want the sex, and they're tricking the women into sex, and it's stupid because they're not.
Okay, yeah, I must admit, I wish they did point out that this issue doesn't
You don't
really
need to
have
point it
that.
out. Everybody knows. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
like
Boris.
yes,
The girls that come to the parties that they were having in this movie, all they're expecting is sex.
yeah, but
Can't you tell by the way they're throwing themselves
yeah,
all over the guys? And then
Yeah.
yes,
two girls that were gonna be with him until Lilith came and kicked them
Two
out.
sisters.
yeah,
So
yeah,
the
I
girls
do
are
get.
in for the
And they
sex
weren't
just
even going
as
to be with
much.
the friend. They weren't even going to be with the friend. But the one sister was like, "But he is kind of cute."
Well, at first they did leave, but then
Yeah,
they ended up getting with them the next day. So yeah.
yeah, but the point I was trying to make is okay, yeah, on screen we do not see, aside from Lilith, we do not see any woman who would actually get hurt by Adam's behavior, but what he said there kind of implied that he does the same things otherwise, and that he did hurt women in the past. with the way he treated them, even though we didn't see
He
it
was
on
just
screen.
he was
But
just he was just mouthing off with his friend like men do. Just
mm,
that's all. He's mouthing off with his friend.
uh, I don't
It's
know.
something that you say to your bro as a bravado moment,
Yeah, I mean,
every
like the term "bros before
every
hoes" and stuff.
promiscuous man out there, guarantee you, often has a phone list either in their head or in their
The black book.
the black book.
Actually, what they always called it, whether it was
Of
actually a book or not.
all the list of
Little
women
black book.
they've fucked or screwed or whatnot. I don't have one, but I've never been that narcissistic. So, but I do
Mm,
know that there are
Yeah,
men
I
that keep
never
track
had one,
of
but that's because I didn't go back for seconds.
their screws.
I never had one because I didn't go back for seconds unless, going back for seconds we dated. Otherwise, it's just one night stand.
Well, you didn't go from woman to woman. You were trying to find love.
I had quite a few quite a few one night stands, man. But I was trying to find love. Just they weren't the ones. I mean, I didn't lie to them and say, "Oh, you're the one" or anything like that. We met, we had sex, and didn't work out on both sides. So all there is to it. I mean, I had one. It was a friend. Like we had met, and then I ended up moving, and then she ended up moving to the same town as me. And I found out she was living there. She's like, "Oh," I'm like, "That's awesome." And then I was like, "Hey," she's like, "Can he come over?" I'm like, "Why? What's up?" She's like, "I'm horny." I'm like, "Okay, be right there." So I mean, she wasn't trying to get a daddy for her kids and a boyfriend. She just wanted to release some stress.
So at this point, we're immediately after the necrophiliac dude, and so at this moment, that female detective, she's like got it in for him, but he lawyers up, and his lawyer comes in and basically says, "Hey, you've got a phone call," you know, and she comes back and she's like, "Well, I guess your daddy has friends in high places because you made you got your bail got
You made bail before you even got arrested. Yeah.
yeah, and by the way, did anyone notice one detail about the detective in the last scene when she appears?
She was hot.
Okay, but that's not what I mean. I mean,
That's all I
story-wise, there is
noticed.
what?
That's all I noticed.
Uh, uh, yeah, well, I mean, one detail that puts her whole character in a different light. If you notice that one moment I'm
I guess I
talking
missed it.
about,
I guess I missed it too.
you tell me.
I'm not sure what you're talking about either.
There
Her
is a
name is
moment.
Kelly too.
Sorry, what?
It's Detective Pie.
Yes, yes. Well, I was talking about the moment in the last scene when she appears. For a brief moment, you can see her eyes glowing red. So that reveals that she is actually one of Lilith's, I don't know, minions or demonic daughters or
Daughters.
whatever. Yeah, yeah. So
According to the internet, they were daughters.
so yes, we find out that she is a demon too, and maybe some of those other people there as well.
Well,
I never saw that.
I didn't realize this, but Kelly Hugh, the detective there, she's a Friday the 13th Part 8 alumni. Jason Takes Manhattan. She was Eva Watanabe. She was the Chinese chick in there that was kind of hoity-toity.
If her last name in the movie was Watanabe, that's probably Japanese, not Chinese.
Asian.
Asian.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know the fucking difference either. I mean, not trying to be racist, but
Neither was I. All I know is normally it's either Chinese or Japanese. Chinese, Japanese, Pekingese.
Well, I still haven't learned to differentiate Chinese names from Korean names, but I can tell them apart from Japanese names because I saw several Japanese movies and read some novels and watched some anime and stuff, so I can recognize Japanese names.
Well, she's definitely been in a lot of things, and I guess she's a trauma alumni too because she was in Surf Ninjas. She was also in an episode of Renegade, so there is a Lorenzo Lamas connection there.
Who?
She was in Strange Days. She was in one episode of The Sentinel. She was in Night Court 2 episodes at one point in time.
who is in Night Court?
Kelly Hu, the detective.
Who?
And most
Kelly
of us
Hu.
will know her as the sorceress in The Scorpion King.
Ooh, interesting.
But she was also Chen Pai Pai in Martial Law. She was also
I want some of her pie.
She was. Here's a Star Wars connection. She was Visa's Mars voice in the video game Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic 2, the Sith Lords.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
She was also in a Dark Shadows TV movie from 2005. As she was Dr. Julia Hoffman.
No shit. She was Hoffman.
And she played in CSI New York on 4 episodes.
I want to think that wasn't the TV movie. That was the TV show with Ben Cross.
Oh, we'll have to
As,
cover this
as
one.
Barnabas.
This one's another Succubus-like movie. It's called Devil's Den.
Ooh, interesting.
And that one was before this one by a year.
That sounds worth checking out.
I guess she was in Robot Chicken a lot. She was in Dead Space Downfall. She was in Dim Sum Funeral. She was a voice in Afro Samurai, the video game. She was a voice in the Ninja Blade video game. She was in Terminator Salvation, the video game, as a voice. She was a voice of Sean Nagayan and Titania in The Spectacular Spider-Man from 2009.
Who?
She was Ms. Lee, the voice of Ms. Lee in Batman Under the Red Hood. She was Lara's voice in Green Lantern, Emerald Knights. She was in 8 episodes of The Vampire Diaries. Looking for, I guess she was Maisie's voice in Scooby-Doo and the Spooky Scarecrow. She was Karai's voice in Nickelodeon's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 2013, the video game. She was Lady Shiva in Batman Arkham Origins, the video game.
Nice.
She was in 6 episodes of Warehouse 13.
Nice. Good show.
She was in High School Exorcism. It's called, but it's also called High School Possession. That was on Lifetime. Mortal Kombat X. She was the voice of Devora, Sindel, and Frost in the video game.
So we
And
still talking about the movie?
yeah,
No.
sort of. I just gotta mention all the good things that she's been in. Oh, 13 episodes as China White and Arrow.
You mentioned every single thing she's done.
Right.
I'm just amazed at all the things that she's been part of. So
Okay, people
Okay.
can look that up on their own.
Right. We are talking about a movie. It was supposed to be.
well, it begs to wonder all the things that people are in, and she's actually one of the ones that has been in a lot of things the most and recently. So that's why.
And she has like a tiny little part in this movie. So who cares?
Well, I think that Kelly, whoever plays in a movie, it's important to know where they've come from and what they.
And that's why people look it up.
The detective who turns out to be a demon.
She's in two scenes.
Yep. So.
And he just spent an hour talking about her.
No, just maybe 10 minutes. But anyways. Moving on. So after the lawyer shows up, he goes to his friends. He realizes that 3 is a crowd, so he leaves because his friend obviously spent the night with his with the ladies that he didn't spend the night with.
The 2 women, and it would have been 4 was a crowd, not 3. Because he had 2 women.
Anyways, we go even further, and I guess he ends up ultimately contacting a guy to help him figure out how to get rid of Lilith, and he does some research.
No, he doesn't.
That's
no, he doesn't. You're skipping ahead.
Yeah, you skipped the part where we know what happens with Jay. Oh, and the airplane moment when Lilith got when Lilith got
the next
an
scene is
airplane.
he goes to he's supposed to go fly with his father. He finds out his father can't make it, so he's supposed to be going up by himself, and he goes up and with someone else in the cockpit with him, I guess. And then she shows up saying she wants to pay for a flight, and she says she doesn't need the pilot, but he says you have to have the pilot. And so she pays him the money with a credit card, and she goes up and she ends up taking over and almost kills him and the other person. Their plane went down. I guess they parachuted out at the last minute. And they survived it, and they all they asked the pilot what's going on, what was his problem, almost killed him. He's like, it wasn't me. I'm like, it was the woman. And he's like, I got knocked out.
Oh
and,
yeah.
then he's like, what was her name? He's like, oh, Lee. He said a couple L names. And he's like, Lilith. He's like, yeah, that's it. He's like, this crazy woman. I'm like, I've run into her a couple of times. So yeah, I don't want to tell them exactly what happened, but yeah, he's like, he didn't realize who it was, and he's of course is pretty freaked out. And then, then they end up going to a club with his friend, and he's dancing with his girl, and Lilith shows up. She sees it, and she's getting all pissed off and jealous. And the friend goes into the bathroom, and she falls in there, and she ends up just, oh yeah, I'm sorry. He sees Lilith, goes, aren't you Lilith? There is, and then she takes him in the bathroom and snaps his neck. Why? I don't know. No fucking clue why she did that. But she snaps his neck and stuffs him in the stall.
Turned his head all the way around.
Yeah, and leaves, and then the date goes in there and to the bathroom, and she's checking herself out. There's another girl in there, and all of a sudden she goes to the stall to probably go to the bathroom, and she starts screaming her head off. The other one then goes over to comfort her and see, what's wrong, what's going on. And she sees what it is. She starts screaming, and you see the dead body there, and that's why they're screaming. And then they shut the door, and then for some weird fucking reason, they open the door again and scream again.
Yeah, that was
Which was
hilarious.
funny, but made no sense at all.
Yeah.
And then you see did they show the corners again?
Screaming and reaction for the fuck of it.
Oh yeah, so he's trying to he tries to get a hold of his dad because he really needs to talk to somebody. Like, this is what the fuck. First his girlfriend's killed, now his best friend is killed, and his father doesn't want to talk to him. He's like, I'll talk to you tomorrow, whatever it is, and wait till tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. And he hangs up on him. And finally the son comes in. He's like, your father's on the phone with the Pentagon. He's like, I don't care. You may be sleeping with him, but I'm his son. He buzzed me in. And so it's like the girl is like, I didn't know what to do, so she buzzes him in. And he walks in. He's like, I'm on the phone. He's like, I don't care. You need to talk to me. So father actually does, say, I'll call you back. And then he's like, who the hell do you think you are? I'm your son. And he tells him what's going on, that his best friend's dead, and the girl's his girlfriend was dead, and he's like, just everything is going on. He thinks this girl Lilith who's been stalking him, and everything, and the father's thinking, oh, I'll get a cop to come over and watch you and everything, and that'll be fine, because he doesn't know it's some kind of supernatural thing, And of course, the cops, they think he killed the girl, so they're like, we should be watching him in a jail, not babysitting him at his house, which, from their point of view, I can understand that, to them it was like an open shut that he killed his girlfriend. Because his daddy was rich, he wasn't in jail. I mean, he was innocent, really, but like I said, to
At
them,
least when
he
it
was
comes
guilty.
to the murders.
Yeah, to them, he felt like they thought he was guilty, and I can understand that. So they're watching the house, and he ends up going on the internet. He looks up Lilith. He looks up, and he's like, finally, ends up looking for a demon hunter. He's like, what am I, crazy? Going to demon hunter? So here comes what's his name?
Yeah, the Sentinel.
So he shows up and find out he's not just a demon killer, he's a vampire hunter and stuff. And he's about to go fight a daywalker, which most of us know is a vampire that can walk during the day. But of course, he didn't know what the hell a daywalker was.
Yeah, that's some guy who.
And the guy's just like, I can't stick around and kill the daywalker, but here's some stuff, some holy water and garlic and some silver bullets and all this other stuff to kill vampires.
Yeah,
And
he's acting like Sam and Dean got nothing on him.
the holy water actually did help. That's the only thing that hurt her. And then he was able to stab her, and he thought he killed her. But of course, he found out she wasn't dead.
Actually, no. I think when she got hit with holy water, first she acted as if it hurt her, but then she started to laugh at it.
No. Not with the holy water. When the cross and the garlic, she was eating the garlic, and you're right. I'm sorry, you're right. The holy water, she laughed, and then he brought the pendant, and then the pendant is what actually hurt.
Yes.
And then that's when he stabs her, and I guess she dies, and then he comes back or whatever. Obviously, it was Lilith. It wasn't the daughter or whatever. It was the mother. So she can't be killed. I guess she decided, okay, he killed me, so I'm gonna move on. She decided to be
Well,
done with him after that point.
well, she sent him to jail. Her business with him was done pretty
He
much.
ain't going to jail. He hasn't gone to jail. You know, I mean, he probably will. The movie ended, so you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. Except the accountant says, "Be all right." He's like, "What do you know? You're my dad's accountant." I'm like, wow. He sends his accountant. Like, what the fuck? So poor kid. But yeah. Of course, there was a long fight where he calls her. He ends up inviting her to come there because he wants to kill her, and of course she's like, "Oh, you invited me. Of course I want to come anyways." But he tries hitting her with darts, and she just moves away, and catches one and throws it back at him, and hits him in the arm. And then she ends up going into the circle, which she shouldn't have. So something was not done right, because if it actually was a circle of protection, she would not have been able to enter.
Well,
She wouldn't
there
have been
was
able to hurt
something
him at all.
there was
They-
something that he dropped that actually allowed her to come in, and it fucked up the
yeah,
circle.
Well, that's
first
the only way.
that,
That's the only way. If you break the circle, or if it's not done right,
and
then
and
then
also it was said it should be done on a full moon night, and there was no
that
full
was just
moon.
to call her. Like I said, she was already coming anyways. But
Oh,
that was just to call her. That had nothing to do with the projections or anything else. Full moons is just it's stronger magical power, and that's why it's better to do things on a full moon. Realistically, he tries shooting her with a crossbow, and that didn't work out, and he ends up. Then I think he had the dagger, and then he throws at that, and of course misses and doesn't get her. And he tries to shoot her with the gun with some bullets, and he's shooting all over the place, even when he doesn't even see her. She's even around. So of course he wastes all those bullets.
I,
Then of course, he picks up the nunchucks, and he moves them a little bit, and he's like, "This ain't gonna work." And he puts them down. But I'm thinking, yeah, that wouldn't.
I,
How the fuck is that gonna work?
I, I
And he picks
really,
up the sword from his house that he had, and that ended up working along with the talisman. Of course, yeah, he does the holy water, and he's like, ah! And he's like, I already told you I'm not a vampire, I'm a succubus.
yeah,
And he pulls out the thing, he's like, wait, she's like, where did you get that? And then
she
he hits
was
her with it,
amazing.
she's stung and hurt, and he stabs her, and yeah. So that's the movie,
Um,
for ill or
yeah,
for good.
and
I wish they would have shown like how he gets rid of her.
Well, he
They,
uh,
stabbed her,
yeah, he stabbed her. We did see that.
and obviously her body didn't disappear or anything. Like, she was still there with the sword going through her heart. So because that's what the cops said. Like, they're gonna charge him with murder, and of course, he's trying to say it's a succubus, and the woman is like, we're gonna arrest you. What did she say? Something about reality.
For something like
Shoot you to bring you back
take,
to reality or something.
something
Um,
like take him out before I shoot him for trying to escape reality.
that's it. That's it. That was a good
Uh,
line. But the best line in the movie we have not talked about yet.
yes,
And
we
what line would that be?
From his friend. Oh, wait a second. I'm looking it up because I want to
it,
get it right.
it isn't
Oh
the
yeah,
best line.
he was talking to the friend who was talking to a girl, and was talking about how he saves kitty cats, and then he says, "Cute little pussies are my passions."
Ah,
I just love that line. That
uh,
was so great.
uh,
He
I
wasn't lying.
uh, I thought the best line was, "I prefer to be on top."
No, that was a good line. That was the best line. Kind of a lot of women that have said that. So
uh, yeah, but
I say that's okay. I prefer to be on the bottom.
uh, yeah, but I also really loved the ending. When you say you didn't
I
notice it,
thought
but
I thought the best line was when Adam said, "Where are you going?" And she said, "I'm hungry. I want to have dinner." And he said, "Well, I'm horny and I want to have sex."
Did you watch the outtakes?
oh
A little bit.
Yeah, there was an
oh
outtake where she goes, I'm hungry and I want to have sex, and he's like, yeah. And it was obviously she missed the line. She choked, but she's supposed to say, you know, I'm hungry and I want to eat. But she says, I'm hungry and I want sex. So the actress is like, yes. Yeah, the outtakes
uh,
were kind of funny.
yeah. Uh,
I like outtakes on a movie.
the
Bloopers.
Yeah. I'm going to say something about the bloopers, but okay, we haven't gotten there yet. Um,
Well, I pretty much just said, the
mm,
outtakes and bloopers are the same thing.
Yeah, you got obsessed about a certain song during the outtakes, didn't you?
oh yeah, that was what I was going to talk about, but I thought I would
I thought
leave
the
it.
music was great, but there's nothing obsessive with it. Anything as far
Uh,
as I'm concerned.
Not even that ending credit song.
No,
Um, okay,
Did
I
you
will
ever
talk.
figure out the title of it?
Yes, you can find it in the ending credits. The song is called "She's to Die For."
Okay.
Uh,
That's
but
I ended up going back and finding the audio recording that you sent in the chat and sent it
mm,
to Tammy. I just wasn't sure of the title. So
you can in the ending credits there is a part when all the
and who
songs are
performs it?
listed. Uh, uh, David, I don't know what his last name is pronounced, like Beryl or Burrell or something like that. It's spelled like
Barrel.
B-U-R, yeah, maybe, yeah, Burrill.
David Burrell.
Yeah, that's probably it. Uh,
I
uh,
Or
saw the song in
there
the ending
were.
credits.
Sorry, what did you say, Tabby?
I saw the song listed in the ending credits. I just didn't know that that was the one.
Yes, yes, that is the one. And
yeah,
okay,
because evidently the song that the chicks were singing in the beach scene, they actually had that like as an extra as the music video with the same.
yeah, that's
The
the
body, the Hollywood, the body, and whatever
Yeah,
else it was.
cutie
That
with
was
the
they put
booty.
that one to the front runner, and they should have put this song that he likes.
that wasn't a bad song either. That pop song. I
Oh,
know we don't like pop, but
oh,
that wasn't a bad song. But most of all the other songs in the movie were good. I liked it.
oh,
Definitely had good music.
So Dave, you like your namesake's song?
My namesake song.
Well, the singer's name is David. Uh,
Tell Her Yesterday, written by Warren Brown, performed by Awaiting Patience. A Pale Destiny, written by Brandon Shapiro and Warren Brown, performed by Awaiting Patience. Who Turned Out the Lights, performed by Awaiting Patience. 101, performed by Michael St.
Waiting patience.
Germain. Another goodbye song by Michael Saint Germain. Least favorite song by Michael Saint Germain, and Shy Love by Scott Mayo. They don't even list it in
Yeah, that's
IMDb.
that's what I was going to talk about. I thought I would leave that part for when we discuss music, but now we kind of jumped to the music. So now I will tell my story about that song if you all want to hear.
Sure.
Uh, so the first time I watched this movie, I really grew fond of the ending credit song, which yeah, it's "She's to Die For" by David Burrell, if that's how it's pronounced. I wanted to find that song because I like songs about female demons, and this one could also somewhat be about total evil from the Seekers and my novel, well, from the point of view of some characters at least. And I really wanted to find that song really badly, but it was apparently unreleased outside of the ending credits of this movie, where where you can read its title. The song seems practically non-existent. It's not on Amazon or any music platform or anything. I even tried to contact some people for help. Some people even tried to contact other people to help me with it, but nothing was found. Some assholes whom I tried to reach even didn't even respond to me or anything. And I even thought of getting someone who is really good at English to write the lyrics down for me, at least as much as they can distinguish, and then I was going to improvise the rest of the lyrics and maybe try to get some indie band to make a cover of it for me. That's how much I wanted that song. And while I was doing research on it, funnily enough, I found out that David Burrell is also, or at least was, a porn actor. And his music company that's mentioned in the ending credits of this movie is, it said it's called the Cover Boy Publishing, which I looked up and I found out the company was owned by David Burrell himself. But the only thing you can find out that company released is one single by a singer named Susie K. The song is called "Rhythm Keeps Moving." That's the only thing you can find that that company released. And while I was doing research, as I said, I found out David was also a porn actor, and a movie that one of his porn movies is named "Private Cover Boy." And then when I was discussing this with another friend of mine, she said since there is a part of the song in the ending credits is overlapped with the bloopers, so the song is practically ruined there. This friend of mine, when we were talking about it, she was theorizing that maybe the bloopers are over the song because maybe there were some copyright issues and maybe the director wasn't allowed to use the whole song. And then I said, what if maybe the song appeared in one of David's porn movies, and maybe that's why there is copyright and stuff. And my friend said, well, maybe. And then I found out there is this movie he played in called The Private Cover Boy, and his company is named Cover Boy Publishing, which made me think maybe the song also appears in that movie, and I thought maybe I would find the full version of it there. And okay, maybe I wouldn't because it's actually a gay porn movie, and the song is about a female person. But yeah, I wanted to find this song so badly that I almost ended up watching gay porn in hopes to find that song. Yeah, but eventually I joined the Lost Media server on Discord, and I brought that song up there. And one person there suggested me to check out if the DVD I have possibly contains digital surround audio for which is for six sound speakers instead of stereo, which is only for two. And eventually I did check that out, and when I saw it did have a digital surround, I immediately messaged that person and said, hey, my DVD does have digital surround, what am I supposed to do with it? And she said, take this software named make mkv and rip the movie to MKV with digital surround and then open it in Audacity, which is an audio editing software. And I did that this one evening. It happened on the evening of November 18. Yeah, uh, I I opened the movie in Audacity, and yeah, when I shut some of the audio channels off, in the last two audio channels, the song was actually there without the bloopers. Okay, the volume
So
goes
you
down.
have to take an MKV file and then open it up in audio just to get a song.
Yes, yes, that's how I eventually got it. And even then, in the part where the bloopers are supposed to begin, the volume of the song goes down, and there are some audio glitches which I had to fix in editing in this software called Audacity. But I must say, when I the first moment I heard this song without the bloopers, and even though there were volume issues, but those could be fixed. As soon as I heard that, I got so fucking euphoric. Sorry for my vocabulary, but I must say that I couldn't even say I had an orgasm in that moment, because when you have an orgasm, you sleep better after that. And I got so euphoric that I couldn't fall asleep until 5:30 a.m. that night. I That was how victorious I felt for finally finding that song. Uh, yeah, okay, sorry. As you can see, I got a little enthusiastic just talking about it. But yeah, when I heard it, when I realized it could be extracted without the blooper voices, I screamed so hard here that my father downstairs heard me screaming, and he thought I had found a job or something. That's why I'm suddenly so enthusiastic. Okay, yeah. Sorry for rambling, but that's my story about this song, and the reason
The
why
funny
I
thing is, what exactly did you tell your father?
the
Did you tell
truth.
him the truth?
Yes, yes. Why not? I just didn't tell him that I almost ended up watching gay porn in order to find this song. Uh, yeah, so then, yeah, there were volume issues, so I still tried to contact the singer and maybe get the original song. Even though I found it here, I would have still been willing to buy it from him and pay for it, but I didn't end up getting a response. Oh well, he's lost, so I got the song for free this way. And yeah, eventually, uh, uh, I thought I might not be able to fix all the audio glitches in it, but eventually I did manage to fix them. So I believe the version of the song that I have right now is probably pretty close to the original quality. I don't think anyone could tell the difference unless they heard the original somewhere. But yeah, I was so happy I found this song that the reason why I picked this movie for this discussion is because I wanted to celebrate this success.
So ultimately, what did you think of the production, Crow?
I absolutely love the music, and I know he's production, but we can't really discuss music except briefly, and he of course went into his long thing about his song and stuff. So I just wanted to mention that I really enjoyed the music. It was good all throughout the whole thing, and even that pop music in the beginning, that one
Yeah,
song, and the rest of it was really
yes.
good. But production, yeah, like I said, it didn't really feel that much like a B movie. I mean, obviously it wasn't a blockbuster, but yeah, it wasn't really. Seemed like they put more money into it. It wasn't really, and it definitely didn't have any tropes that most of the B movies have. Like boobs and blood. So
Yes.
yeah, so I thought the production was pretty good. I mean, the movie could have been better in some ways, like we have discussed, but you know, for what we got, it wasn't bad.
No,
Mm.
definitely not. So, um, what about you, Tammy? What did you think about the production?
It was okay, like you said earlier. You would have thought there would have been just a little bit more of a blood or gore, or a little bit more because she's a succubus, you know.
No.
So there really wasn't much of that, but it was okay.
I mean, she definitely had enough kinky boots.
Oh. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I loved her boots.
Mhm. I
But
thought
yeah,
I thought the production was okay for its time. I mean, uh, there were definitely a lot of references to different movies throughout the film. Like Lilith calls Adam Top Gun when they are flying,
Oh yeah. And
and of course, Bang Bang, the bitch is dead, a reference to the Wizard of Oz.
yeah.
When the drowned girl is called a Little Mermaid. Evidently, there was a poster in Adam's bedroom of the movie Ballistic.
Ooh.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch was used in the mentioned in the dialogue. Jason stands at the
Yeah, that
front of
was
the
good.
boat, stretches his arms out to reference Titanic,
Oh. Uh,
and the Demon Hunter Gary Busey mentions the
I
day.
even said I'm king of the world when I saw that scene.
uh, uh, there is also a moment when Adam says he should have gone to Hogwarts so he would know how to deal with Lilith.
Yep, he did. He said I should have gone to Hogwarts instead of
Mm.
whatever he was going to.
The other poster in Adam's bedroom was a poster to the Legend of Crying Ryan from 1998, which I don't think I've ever seen either one of those two.
I have not seen Privates. Ryan's Privates.
Neither have I.
But in any case, yeah, I thought the effects were okay. I mean, for its time, uh,
Mm,
but some of them don't age over time. I don't think. Um,
uh, yeah, maybe there was some CGI that could have been better, but then again, regarding the fact that this is a low budget movie, I would say the production is actually very good. Okay, I do wish, as you have already pointed out, Kroll, that there were more boobs and more blood. It definitely would have made sense and would have added something to the movie, but even
Yep.
Now,
without it.
I will say, in likeness of the Seekers, this one is a better production than The Seekers.
Jeez, fucking
Uh,
increased.
yeah, in terms of production, maybe it was. Well, yeah, in most scenes, it almost looks like a professional movie. There are only some shots that look kind of amateurish, and yeah, okay, some CGI effects aren't very good, maybe, but there were those airplane scenes which I imagine were not easy to put together in a low budget
Well,
movie, which I
they were real fighter pilot planes, so I got to give them that.
y- yeah, and there was this one moment when the airplane crashed and there was this explosion. I read something that they supposedly used footage of a real airplane crash for that moment. And in that real crash, I heard if what I read there is true, supposedly two people died there.
Really.
At least I read something like that. So take my words with a pinch of salt, but you can look it up for yourself. You will probably find something.
Ah, okay. But I guess at this point in time, we're into favorite scenes or favorite characters.
Oh,
So let's start with you, Tammy. Was there a favorite scene or favorite character in here for you?
I guess the scene that was to me was the freakiest is when she broke that dude's neck because she spun his head like all the way around.
oh.
You know, that was kind of freaky. I remember. I mean, when she did that, I was like, "Oh my god." um, favorite character? I don't know. I guess you'd have to be the succubus. So
Okay. Heading over to you, Kroll. Favorite scene and our favorite character.
Hoot hoot crawl.
Sorry, I was
Already.
busy for a second. Yeah. I don't really have a favorite character. I mean, the main captain, he's okay. I mean, he's watchful and everything. But you know, I wouldn't really call him a favorite. I mean, glad he didn't die, but he still went through hell. Lilith, I liked her okay, but again, she wasn't really. She was a succubus, but she wasn't how a succubus should be. So I just couldn't really say she's my favorite either. So as far as scene goes, I don't know. Nothing really stands out that much. I guess the first sex scene a little bit cool, and a few sex scenes with Lilith were kind of cool. I mean, you didn't really see too much. Um, it was almost like PG-13. So, but
Almost.
yeah, I guess there were. I guess those scenes were oh, pretty much the best ones. I'm not saying they were all that great, but I like the movie. But yeah, nothing really stands out. You, Dave?
Oh.
My impression.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'd go with Lilith as my favorite character. I mean, she does look pretty hot in the leather, but I do kind of wish that all the chicks concerned, I wish she would have gotten more sexiness. Uh, I think it should have been a little bit more risque. than it was. It seemed like the director didn't really work with anyone who wanted to like entirely undress. So
Mm,
um,
possibly, yeah.
as far as the I do think that that the turning around of the head was probably the best scene, but I do get a kick out of the necrophiliac moment. That was kind of like a what the fuck moment, you know. Um, it was like the added in there as like a humorous thing, but it obviously for those who are against it, definitely um, gross. You got to have a gross out moment too, you know. So
uh, yeah.
but yeah, I thought the movie was okay for being a straight to shelf movie. So
uh, and in my case, my favorite character, who probably Adam's father's accountant. Just kidding, of course. Obviously, my favorite character is Lilith. My dear bitch from hell. And my favorite scene, it's actually difficult to pick one because I liked all the scenes with Lilith. But yeah, definitely one of the best ones was the very end when the necrophiliac opened the body bag and she woke up and grabbed his neck and said, "I prefer to be on top." That was brilliant. And I also liked the final encounter between her and Adam. I loved how she was screwing around with him and the jokes she was playing on him, and when she threw that dart back at him and hit him in the shoulder with it, that was also great. And earlier when she chased off those two other girls and they just she didn't even do anything to them, they just apparently got scared enough by her attitude. And also when she was messing around with the guy who had to give her the airplane, that was also good. Okay, maybe I'm not that happy with the scene when she killed the girlfriend because she was kind of innocent. Although, yeah, since she forgave Adam for cheating on her, and the whole thing kind of implies that she was encouraging him to keep doing the shit he was doing. So maybe that's why she got killed because when there was this airplane crash and there was someone in the plane that crashed. So technically, Lilith could have killed that guy in the plane too, but she obviously didn't uh, uh, crash that. She didn't crash that plane hard enough to kill him. Uh, and also, speaking of the girlfriend, I kind of wonder if the idea was to portray that she actually knew what Adam was like, and she still stayed with him in spite of that. Then why did she even get upset to begin with when she saw those scratches on his chest? If she already knows what stuff
Because
he
it's one
does.
thing to know, and it's another to see evidence.
Ah, okay, I kind of see. uh, uh,
The
so yeah,
scratches were basically just rubbing it in her face. What he's been doing, you know.
Yeah.
oh, okay, yeah, I get it. And another moment I really liked was when Adam was watching the footage with him and Jay and Heather, and he got somewhat emotional where we did get to see that he is not pure evil after all. But then Lilith started to show up on his screen and on his phone and stuff, and she was screwing around with him. That was also brilliant. Sorry, I just really like Lilith a lot.
I forgot that part.
Oh, when she was appearing on screen to
Yeah,
him.
I'm saying I forgot to talk about it.
Uh, but do you remember it now when I mentioned
Oh,
it?
I didn't forget the scene. I'm saying I forgot to talk about it
Oh,
when we
yeah,
were going through the movie. Something we missed that scene.
it, it did.
She was
Uh,
taunting him. She was taunting him like a motherfucker. And then he shuts it off. And she calls him. It's like that wasn't very nice. It's like
sorry, what did you say? What wasn't
then
where?
she called him after he shut the monitor off. It's like that's not very nice.
Oh, oh yeah. Uh, So yeah, those would be my favorite scenes. And as
They
far
should
as
have had Buck Cherry's "Crazy Bitch" song in there. That would have fit perfectly.
sorry, what?
Buck Cherry's "Crazy Bitch."
Uh, can you send me that song on Facebook? I want to check it out later.
Okay.
Thanks. And yeah, I didn't actually say much about the music aside from the song that I got so freaking obsessed with. But yeah, the rest of the music was pretty good as well. Uh, there is also one song, according to the credits, which seems as difficult to find as this one, but I couldn't really figure out which one it was. In the credits, it's mentioned under the title "Bad Girl." I think it says it was performed by Sarah Rogers, if I'm not wrong, and also written by David Burrell and released by Cover Boy Publishing. So that one is also impossible to find. But when watching the movie, I couldn't even figure out what song it was. So I'm not so bothered about that one. But yeah, all the music was really good in my opinion, but yeah, the ending credit song was by far my favorite, and now when I finally have it, it's like a diamond on my playlist. You probably don't want to hear me singing it, but yeah, I'm really happy I have it. I haven't posted it on YouTube. Maybe at some point I might post it. Not sure yet, but for now I kind of want to enjoy the feeling of having something so fucking rare. But if any of you are interested in the song, you can message me and I'll give it to you.
I just put that song in Delusions of Grandeur. It's not showing the name, but that's the one. The link that I just sent.
Yeah, it's called. Although the phrase that he repeats the most in the song is "a bitch from hell," but the song is actually called "She's to Die For," which is also a tagline in the trailer of the movie.
Yep. So at this point, I think we have discussed the movie. So hopefully y'all have enjoyed our discussion on Succubus Hellbent,
Oh
and
yeah.
uh, I guess give it a try and give it a watch. And let us know down in the comments
Oh,
whether you thought the film was as bad or as good as uh, some of us seem to uh, like or dislike?
Oh, definitely. In my opinion, you shouldn't rely on reviews too much. When I went to check out the reviews, I was surprised how much negativity there is about this movie. I really don't think it deserves all the bad criticism it got. Okay, yeah, it is supposed to be a horror movie, but it's not too scary. But in my opinion, a movie, even if it does nominally belong to the horror genre, it does not necessarily have to be scary in order to be enjoyable. I To me, this movie was a real delight, not only because of the song I like so much, but yeah, I really liked Lilith a lot. I loved the way she was screwing around with Adam, even though there was some collateral damage. Some people who didn't quite deserve to end the way they did. Aside from Heather and Lilith, who was falsely dead, and Adam got framed for it. He was supposedly also framed for the death of those two cops, and not sure about Jay. He wasn't even interrogated about that. Mm,
Nope.
uh, but yeah, I kind of feel sorry for the characters who died. But yeah, if there weren't any deaths, then it really wouldn't be a horror movie. But
True.
yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. No matter what reviews say, I say you should check it out if you like women. If you like movies with sexy demonic women, you should definitely check it out. And yeah, we have already discussed the other good sides of
Well,
it.
hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, as they say.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you better remember that.
Ha ha ha.
Oh, come on! You can't say that Dave is treating you like Adam treated Lilith.
No.
But in any case, like, share, and subscribe, and everyone say good night.
Good night.
Good night.